we flip gears and talk about the Southeastern men and discussing a coach doing a terrific job now as he just gets better and better with his program year after year. David Kiefer, reigning Southland Conference Coach of the Year. They were a win-away tick from both the Southland Conference regular season and tournament championships.
You know, I tell people all the time, Coach Kiefer has really done a good job. Every year his record has gotten better and better. Last year it was a real big turnaround year. He's maybe a game away from winning the championship. He's got players that left, but knowing him, he's replaced those players. I like his style. He's very intense, but you only see that intensity in the locker room. I'd like to record what he tells his team at halftime, but he's one of my favorite people. I met his family, beautiful wife, mother and dad, but I like what he brings to his program. I just wonder what he's going to do in replacing some of those key players from a year ago.
Yeah, we welcome in David Kiefer, fourth year for the reigning Southland Conference Coach of the Year. A tremendous season for you guys a year ago, a win away, like we said, from a regular season crown coach, and then it came up just short in terms of the title game against Corpus Christi. How do you guys go about building upon that? I know you got to replace 5 starters.
Yeah, first off, I appreciate the kind words, Coach Price. It's a lot easier, I'm sure, for you to say those nice things after whipping my butt every time we played you. But yeah, no, we had just like our women's team, it wasn't as dramatic as the ending as there was. Ours was kind of determined a little bit before the ending of the game. You know, Corpus Christi kind of put it on us, and they were the tougher, better team that night. But I think we addressed some things personnel-wise. I think we got a more gritty, physical team. We're bigger this year. Last year, we really relied heavily on making shots. If we didn't make shots last year, it was tough for us to win. That's kind of who we were offensively, get up and down the floor, make perimeter shots, be really unselfish. That's who we are to the core, is unselfish. But this year, I think we've addressed just being more physical, matching teams like Corpus Energy in the defensive end, being able to rebound the basketball. Because ultimately, you know, when you're in some of these games, you're not going to make shots every game. You got to find other ways to win the basketball game, and it came down to that. In the championship game, we didn't make shots, and we weren't able to overcome that.
And you know, the cupboard is not bare in Hammond; it's just unknown and unproven. What are you going to do to make sure that you send a message throughout the year in the Southland Conference?
Well, I think it's just trying to be who we are every day. You know, get better every single day, compete every single day. Our identity's got to show in practice every single day, from the defensive end and rebound. We're not just going to talk about it. We got to show that every day. But individually, we've got some really good pieces, you know, that just some under the radar guys with chips on their shoulders. You know, since I've been the head coach and assistant coach, one thing about us is we've always had some very dynamic guards. You know, Marlon Veal and Keon Clairgeau. This year we got a couple more that, and honestly, I think we got one that might be better than anyone that I've ever had. And just really excited about what those guys can bring to the table.
Hey, Coach, who specifically at the guard spot are you looking at? You mentioned you got some really good talent at that position.
Yeah, we have 2 incoming senior guys. Christian Agnew from UTEP. He was at North Alabama as a freshman and sophomore in Atlantic Sun. I think he averaged almost close to 14 a game as a sophomore. In Atlantic Sun, he was over at UTEP, played for a couple of different coaches there. He'll come and make an immediate impact. The other senior guard that I'm extremely excited about, really under the radar, Boogie Anderson from South Dakota. I just think he's a guy that can play multiple positions in our conference. I think that he's got a chance to be Defensive Player of the Year. He's just a really unselfish, great teammate. Just think he's very special. Obviously, there's a bunch of other guys on that list that I'm really excited about as well. We got a couple transfers in. Alec Witter from Austin P, Dante Houston from Rio Grande Valley, and a couple JUCO guys, Medi, and really got 2 sleepers, I think, in the freshmen, 2 freshmen that we've signed that I'm really excited about that are going to be ready to play right away.
Coach, last year, according to Ken Palm, I think you guys were the smallest by height in the country. That's not going to be the case this year. Max Brackman, 7'2". You mentioned Dante Houston, he's 6'9". You got, I think, 4 guys 6'10" or bigger. That's going to go a long way towards helping you compete against some of the big dogs you're going to go up against in the non-conference when you look at a bunch of solid teams like a Wyoming, a Dayton, Vanderbilt, and so on.
Yes, for sure. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a couple injuries right now. Max Brackman is going to be hurt for a little while in the non-conference play. We'll be able to get him back, but we do have some size. Like I said, in the conference game and late in the season, losing battles at the rim sometimes, and points in the paint and rebounding. Sometimes we want to be more consistent with that, and we went out there and addressed that in the recruiting needs. I think we got an absolute steal in Dante Houston, and also incoming freshman Brody Roberry, who was Idaho Gatorade Player of the Year, and he spent this past year at Sunrise Prep School, lost 60 pounds, and I think he's got a chance to make an immediate impact as a freshman.
You know, you've got some returning players, but from offensively, what's gonna be your philosophy, or there's gonna be much change in how you run your offensive system this year?
Yeah, one thing I could say about our staff is we really do a good job in adapting to who we are. You know, every year we've changed and done things different. We don't try to fit a square hole in a round, in a round peg, or backwards. I mean, a round square peg in a round hole. Sorry,
Close enough.
But we got a guy. Like I said, we have a guy that we can throw the ball with the back to the basket now. We can throw the ball inside. We got guys that can still make perimeter shots. I like our guys playing with freedom and creativity and space. We're not a big set basketball team. Every day we preach the defense tells you to play, be unselfish. Last year we were top 25 in the country in assists and 3-point field goals made. We're going to share the basketball. This year I just think we'll be more consistent because we can get to the free throw line. We can score in the paint, where before we were really relying heavily on our perimeter shots. And I just think we can be more consistent on the offensive end by getting the ball inside. But Coach, we're going to play with freedom. We're going to let our guards do what they do, and we're going to share the basketball. But like I said, the ball's going to go inside a little bit more this year. And defensively, I think you're going to kind of see the same thing. It's just a hard-nosed team that gets after it. We just have bigger, more physical, better athletes on the floor this year, and I just think just more gritty. So you're going to see a much improved defensive team this year.
Both the Southeastern men and women coming off appearances in the Southland Conference Tournament title game a year ago. Ayla Gazzardo with the women and David Kiefer with the men. Thanks for your time, guys. Best of luck this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Go Lions.
Well, another Lions after this. The Texans.